Hello guys and welcome back to Between the Ropes TV. Now we've got a bit of news in the boxing world, and whilst we're waiting for schedules to be announced, etc., we've had some news, and it's more financial news, but still will affect the boxing world no doubt at some stage. The Dazn group have made an operating loss of $1.36 billion for 2021. And that's up from, again, the much publicized figure in 2020, which was $1.15 billion. Overall, these are operating losses as well. So anyone that, reads accounts and stuff knows these are the critical numbers. And it takes their overall losses to the 3 financial years to over $5 billion, which does beg the question, doesn't it? How much longer can Dazn sustain these losses? I think that's the concern that everybody's going to have. Because, Eddie Hearn signed his multi-billion-dollar deal with them to produce their boxing. They've got Golden Boy. They're obviously spending a lot of money on Misfits, which is bringing subscribers in, so they say. But as Frank Warren, in fairness to the guy, and I know I give him a bad press on this channel, but as Frank does say that, they're not so keen to publicise these numbers, are they? And they have gone back on their original mantra, as was well documented last year around the pay-per-views. They were never going to do pay-per-views. Pay-per-view was dead. Now pay-per-views is relevant to the big fights, which I don't have such an objection to that. I just think it was poor marketing. However, these losses are staggering when you actually think about it. And at some point, the taps are going to get turned off by investors because it's just not sustainable. It's not a business model, Even when you see rich people buy football clubs and as a vanity project, at some point it runs out. And that's the concern. I mean, there is a possible light at the end of the tunnel. Common sense would tell you that the 2022 figures, when they're released, will be better. Because obviously in 2020 and 2021, we had the COVID era. So subscribers would naturally be lower because fights weren't happening. The Serie A, which Dazn has, that wasn't on. There was no live sport, was there? Or certainly a lot less. So, of course, I did it myself at the time. Subscriptions go, don't they, when you're in lockdown? So you would assume the 2022 figures will be better. However, the flip side of that coin, that these losses are so severe at 1.36 billion, you've got to do a lot before you're even breaking even, never mind looking at a profit. And I question... I hear a lot of people, particularly the last few months, and I've said it myself, the boxing schedule for, I hate the phrase, but hardcore boxing fans wasn't good enough in the second half of 2022. We had Canelo Golovkin pay-per-view. There were other fights, but when you looked across at what Sky Sports and Box were doing, Shields Marshall, that was as part of your Sky subscription. I know you have to pay for that, but you are paying for DAZN as well. So, neither argument complements each other very well. And I just think DAZN are treading a very, very fine line. There was all sorts of rumours about them buying out BT. With these sorts of losses, how plausible is that? Obviously, then there's all sorts of talks about that obviously died. But DAZN are going to have to do something radical. And they've just signed their 5-year deal with Misfits Boxing, which I've got my own views on. I'm not a fan of it because although it's, 6 dates a year, that's 6 dates for me that genuine boxers can't access. And then, as we, again, well documented, Joshua Buatsi fought once last year. You can go on with that, but it's a separate video. The point is that Matchroom, the UK schedule wasn't good enough. That's not going to help this. Then DAZN have got a $1.36 billion loss. It's all bad publicity and it's bad business. At some point, that has to be turned around. If various rumours are to be true, so far, the first half of this year, the schedule is shaping up as February the 18th, Lee Wood, Maurizio Lara in Nottingham. Now, that's a fantastic fight, and that will no doubt draw a crowd. Obviously, KSI is fighting this weekend. That will draw the YouTube children crowd. I don't know. But they're saying it's a draw, and it must be, in fairness, because although they don't publicise the numbers, the fact they've renewed the deal for 5 years, it's a clear statement of intent, so they're obviously drawing. Then rumours are Joe Cordina will be April the 22nd against Rakimov in Cardiff. And that's all we've really got so far. There's whispers of April the 1st, Joshua and Dempsey McKean, which is a great fight, but with the rumoured figures of 100 million a fight that they'd be paying Anthony Joshua, I'd assume there must have been clauses that would have changed that figure when he lost the and then he did lost the rematch to Alexander Usyk. But will Joshua be pay-per-view? I can't believe they'd put Anthony Joshua on as part of your Dazn subscription. Sorry. So then you need a stacked undercard, and it just opens up the old can of worms, which is exactly why Eddie Hearn said he left Sky Sports, because he was sick to death of justifying pay-per-views. And it looks like he might be exactly where he started without the Sky Sports machine behind him. Not a good place to be. But guys, there you have it. That's the news. Let us know in the comments section what you guys think. Because Dazn came into boxing and made noise, and it's not paid off. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Plenty more content to come.